Picture a woman with no friends, not out of rejection, not out of sorrow, but out of a conscious, deliberate choice. Today, we're going to challenge the societal norm that equates happiness with a bustling social life, and instead delve into the empowering solitude that a woman can choose for herself. This is about the strength found in quietness, the resilience built in reflection, and the profound growth that occurs when a woman stands alone with her thoughts. Today, we'll explore how a woman without friends is not a woman without support. She is, in fact, possibly the most powerful architect of her life, building her path with the bricks of independence and self-discovery. If you've ever wondered about the road less traveled by or felt the pressure to conform to societal standards of connection, this discussion might just turn your views inside out. So, if you're intrigued by the idea of finding strength in solitude, or if you're skeptical about how solitude can actually enrich a person's life, stay with us till the end. Subscribe and share this video with others who appreciate deep, philosophical insights and personal growth stories. Let's uncover together why sometimes the most enriching journeys are those we embark on alone. The power of walking alone. The concept of walking alone often conjures images of solitude, perhaps even loneliness, but let's flip that notion on its head. Walking alone doesn't have to signify isolation. Instead, it can embody a powerful journey of self-discovery and inner strength. It's about embracing the stillness that comes with being solo and finding that in those moments we are not just meeting ourselves, but we are creating ourselves. Now think about the teachings of Stoicism. This ancient philosophy, founded in the bustling markets and forums of Greece, might seem worlds away from the modern challenges of solitude. Yet it's incredibly relevant. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius or Seneca weren't just philosophers, they were practitioners of life. They advocated for a life lived with virtue, resilience, and above all, independence of mind. They taught that the greatest peace comes from within and that external circumstances, whether it's the noise of a crowd or the quiet of a room, shouldn't shake the foundation of our inner tranquility. When a woman chooses to walk alone, she's engaging in a deeply Stoic practice. She's making a conscious decision to prioritize her inner voice over the cacophony of societal expectations. In solitude, she finds the mental space to question, to reflect, and to understand her true desires and fears without the filter of external influences. This is not about withdrawing from the world out of fear or antisocial tendencies. Rather, it's about reaffirming one's own strength and confidence. As she walks this path, every step taken in solitude is a step towards self-reliance. She learns to trust her instincts and judgments, recognizing that she holds the capacity not just to survive on her own, but to thrive. This isn't a journey marked by the number of miles or the solitude of the road traveled, but by the internal growth and fortitude developed along the way. Consider the story of a woman who decides to travel alone, to dine alone, to live alone. Each choice is met with the typical societal questions. Isn't she lonely? Is something wrong? But here's where Stoicism lends us another lesson. Our perceptions shape our reality. If she perceives these moments as opportunities for enrichment rather than episodes of loneliness, she transforms her experience into something profoundly positive. Stoicism teaches us about the power of perception. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When a woman walks alone, she's putting this into practice. She's choosing to react to solitude with acceptance and seeing it as an opportunity to fortify her character. She's not waiting for someone to fill the silence. She fills it herself with thoughts, dreams, plans, and the kind of self-dialogue that drives personal evolution. This kind of independence is rare. It's a form of freedom that many seek, but few truly embrace because it's challenging. It requires a woman to confront herself, to deal with her own complexities, and to answer the hard questions about who she is and what she wants out of life. But in these challenges lie the opportunity for great personal insight and empowerment. Walking alone, a woman aligns more closely with her values and hones her ability to live authentically. This alignment brings peace, the kind of peace that Stoics describe as being free from disturbance. It's the peace that comes from knowing you are living true to yourself, without the need for constant external validation or companionship. In embracing solitude, a woman doesn't just find herself, she creates herself. She crafts a life not defined by whom she's with, but by who she is. And in this self-creation lies her greatest strength and freedom. This is the power of walking alone. It's a journey every woman can choose to take, a path to discovering that the most important conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. Understanding solitude as strength. We live in a society that often equates being alone with being lonely, but there's a significant difference between the two. Loneliness is a feeling of sadness about being alone, while solitude is the state of being alone without being lonely. It's in this state that we can discover inner strengths we never knew we had. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, teaches the importance of focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. When a woman chooses solitude, she is actively deciding to focus on her inner self, which is very much within her control. This choice aligns with the Stoic practice of self-mastery and emotional regulation, emphasizing that true contentment comes from within, not from our external circumstances or relationships. Solitude offers a unique environment where one can practice Stoic virtues such as wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. In solitude, a woman can reflect on her life's decisions, reassess her values, and plan her future without distraction. This kind of introspection helps her develop wisdom about herself and the world around her. She can evaluate her actions and thoughts critically, asking herself if they align with her core values, which is an exercise in Stoic justice, ensuring her actions contribute positively to her community and herself. Moreover, solitude builds courage. It takes bravery to stand alone, to be comfortable in one's own company, and to face the internal shadows we often hide from others. Each moment of solitude is an opportunity to confront fears, insecurities, and doubts head-on. As Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, suggested, it is in our solitude that we are most challenged and thus most primed for growth. This growth manifests not just in emotional resilience, but also in the courage to make decisions that are true to oneself, regardless of societal pressures. Temperance, or self-control, is another Stoic virtue strengthened by solitude. In silence, away from the whirlwind of social interactions, a woman learns to regulate her desires and impulses. She learns the art of self-discipline, managing her emotions and thoughts effectively. This self-regulation is crucial in a world that constantly bombards us with stimuli designed to incite reactions rather than thoughtful responses. But solitude isn't just about being alone. It's about what you do with that aloneness. It's about using that space to engage in practices that foster self-improvement and personal peace. This could be meditating, reading, journaling, or simply reflecting on the day. Each of these activities offers a way to cultivate a clearer mind and a more steadfast spirit, qualities that are invaluable in both personal and professional realms. Furthermore, solitude allows a woman to develop a relationship with herself that is untainted by the expectations and judgments of others. This self-relationship is the most important one she'll ever have, for it lays the foundation for all other relationships in her life. As Marcus Aurelius pointed out, the relationship we have with ourselves should be one of honesty and integrity, and solitude provides the perfect setting for such authenticity. In embracing solitude, a woman not only strengthens herself internally, but also enhances her external relationships. By spending time alone, she can return to her social circles refreshed and more present. The strength gained from solitude empowers her to contribute more meaningfully to conversations, to listen more intently to others, and to engage more authentically with the world around her. The gift of emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is often seen as the ability to bounce back from adversity, but it's much more. It's about building a foundation that allows you to face life's challenges with grace and composure. For a woman walking alone, solitude is not just a state of being. It's an opportunity to develop this crucial strength. The solitude gives her the space to engage deeply with her thoughts and emotions, a practice that aligns beautifully with Stoic philosophy, which teaches the value of understanding and controlling one's inner dialogue. Stoicism, at its core, is about maintaining a tranquil mind amidst both prosperity and adversity. This tranquility is achieved through emotional resilience, which Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca believed comes from our ability to choose our responses to external events. They taught that events themselves have no power over us. It's our judgments of those events that cause most of our distress. In solitude, a woman has the unique chance to examine these judgments critically, to challenge them, and to change her responses to be more in line with her core values. Think of emotional resilience as a muscle that strengthens with practice. Each time a woman faces a challenge on her own, she exercises this muscle. She learns that she can endure pain, overcome challenges, and emerge stronger on the other side. This learning is gradual, a product of many quiet moments of reflection and confrontation with personal fears and failures. As she continues to engage with her thoughts and feelings directly, without distractions, it becomes clearer that her emotional well-being does not depend on others, but on her ability to manage her internal state. Moreover, the solitude allows her to develop a set of coping mechanisms that are tailored to her unique needs and personality. Whether it's through meditation, journaling, or simply practicing mindfulness, these tools become part of her emotional toolkit, accessible whenever she faces stress or uncertainty. Over time, these practices not only build resilience, but also enhance her ability to remain calm and composed in situations that once might have destabilized her. The Stoic practice of reflection, particularly through daily meditations like those of Marcus Aurelius, also plays a key role in building emotional resilience. In solitude, a woman can reflect on the day's events, her reactions to them, and evaluate how her behaviors align with her Stoic values. This daily assessment helps her identify areas for improvement, celebrate small victories in her journey towards emotional strength, and set intentions for the following day. This continuous cycle of reflection and intention sets a foundation for enduring resilience. Emotional resilience also empowers a woman to be more assertive and confident in her interactions with others. When she understands and manages her emotions effectively, she can communicate more clearly and stand firm in her decisions. This assertiveness is crucial in both personal and professional settings, where often the ability to remain composed under pressure sets the stage for success and leadership. Additionally, by fostering emotional resilience, solitude helps a woman detach her self-esteem from external validation. She no longer looks to others for approval or lets public opinion dictate her self-worth. Instead, she finds confidence in her own assessments and achievements, embracing a stoic indifference to things outside her control, like the fleeting judgments of others. Self-sufficiency in decision-making. This quality goes beyond simply making choices independently. It's about cultivating a deep sense of trust in one's own judgment and capabilities, a concept heavily emphasized in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that true wisdom comes from within, and that the best decisions are made by those who are not swayed by external pressures, but guided by internal virtue. For a woman walking alone, self-sufficiency in decision-making transforms solitude from a mere circumstance to a powerful tool of empowerment. It involves stepping away from the noise of the crowd to listen intently to one's own voice. In the quiet of her own company, a woman has the unique opportunity to engage deeply with her thoughts, to weigh her options without prejudice, and to choose paths that align sincerely with her values and aspirations. This process is not just about the absence of others' opinions. It's about the presence of an inner dialogue that is clear, focused, and insightful. Decision-making becomes an exercise in self-knowledge and integrity. Each choice, whether small or significant, becomes a reflection of her true self. Stoicism teaches us the importance of living according to nature, our own nature, and in making decisions that resonate with our core self, we are practicing this principle. The ability to make decisions in solitude also fosters a type of independence that is rare and valuable. It's about understanding that while advice from others can be helpful, the final decision, and the responsibility for it, rests solely with oneself. This realization is empowering, but also daunting. It requires embracing both the freedom and the accountability that come with making choices alone. Self-sufficiency in decision-making also builds resilience. When a woman makes decisions based on her internal compass, she is more likely to stay committed to her choices, even in the face of challenges. This commitment stems from the confidence that her decisions were made thoughtfully and deliberately without external influence. The Stoic notion of being steadfast in one's purpose is lived out in this resilience. Marcus Aurelius, a model Stoic, advised that we should perform every action as if it were the last of our lives, with dignity and commitment. Applying this to decision-making underscores the importance of choices that are not only practical, but also principled. Moreover, this self-guided decision-making process encourages a woman to develop a personal philosophy of life, much like the Stoics had. It becomes her guiding star, helping her navigate through life's complexities with a clearer sense of direction. This philosophy is continuously refined through the practice of making decisions alone, learning from outcomes, and adjusting courses as necessary. In practical terms, self-sufficiency in decision-making means that a woman is less likely to be swayed by fleeting trends or peer pressure. Her choices in life, from career moves to personal relationships, are thoughtfully made, reflecting her true desires rather than societal expectations. This alignment between decision and desire ensures that her life trajectory is authentically her own, leading to deeper satisfaction and fulfillment. Finally, the Stoic practice of reflecting on one's decisions enhances this self-sufficiency. By regularly examining the choices she makes, a woman not only learns from her successes and mistakes, but also strengthens her decision-making skills. This reflective practice, recommended by Stoics like Seneca, ensures that decision-making is not a static ability, but a dynamic skill that evolves and matures over time. Building authentic relationships. The notion might initially seem paradoxical. How does one who walks alone excel in building relationships? Yet, it is exactly this solitude that can enhance the quality and authenticity of her social connections. This concept is deeply resonant with Stoic philosophy, which teaches the value of sincerity and virtue in all interactions, regardless of their frequency or scope. When a woman chooses solitude, she often does so to reflect, to understand herself better, and to cultivate inner peace. These periods of introspection allow her to develop a clear sense of who she is and what she values. With such self-awareness comes a greater capacity to engage with others in a way that is both genuine and intentional. She is no longer seeking relationships based on social necessity or external validation, but rather forming connections that align with her true self. Stoicism, at its core, encourages us to look inward and foster personal virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. These virtues then become the bedrock upon which authentic relationships are built. For instance, wisdom guides her to recognize the right kinds of relationships to pursue, those that encourage mutual growth and understanding. Courage allows her to be honest and open in her interactions, even when it might be easier to conform or be less forthright. Justice ensures that she treats others fairly and respects their autonomy, while moderation prevents her from overstepping boundaries or becoming overly dependent. Authentic relationships are characterized by a profound respect for each other's individuality. In her solitude, a woman learns that true connection does not require constant proximity or interaction. Instead, it thrives on respect, understanding, and the freedom to be oneself without fear of judgment. This understanding allows her to maintain healthy, meaningful relationships that do not drain her emotional reserves, but rather replenish them. Furthermore, the authenticity of these relationships is enhanced by the quality of presence she brings to them. When a woman is accustomed to solitude, she often develops a deep capacity for listening and empathy. She becomes more attuned to the nuances of communication and more present in her interactions. This quality of presence is invaluable in relationships. It makes others feel seen, heard, and valued, which are the cornerstones of any lasting and meaningful connection. Another aspect where Stoicism plays a crucial role is in the acceptance of impermanence and change. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about the transient nature of life and relationships. By embracing this Stoic view, a woman learns to appreciate her relationships in the present moment without clinging to them or fearing their loss. This acceptance not only brings peace, but also allows her to engage more fully, knowing that each interaction could be as fleeting as it is precious. Building authentic relationships also means being selective. It's about quality over quantity. A woman who values her solitude will likely choose to invest in fewer relationships, prioritizing depth over breadth. This selectiveness is not a limitation, but a strength. It ensures that the relationships she does cultivate are more likely to be enriching and enduring, marked by mutual respect and understanding. Lastly, the Stoic practice of reflecting on one's relationships is crucial for their maintenance and growth. By periodically assessing how her relationships align with her virtues and values, a woman ensures that her connections remain healthy and true to her principles. This ongoing evaluation helps her make necessary adjustments and deepens her appreciation for the relationships that truly matter. Navigating life with inner guidance. This is about tuning into your inner compass, listening to the quiet voice of personal intuition and wisdom that often gets drowned out in the chaos of everyday life. For a woman who chooses to walk alone, this form of navigation is not just a preference. It becomes her primary means of moving through the world. In Stoicism, the idea of living according to nature, that is, one's true nature, is central. This philosophy teaches us to strip away the unnecessary, to focus on what truly matters, and to align our actions with our core values. When a woman navigates life with inner guidance, she is essentially practicing this Stoic principle. She makes decisions based on her own reasoned conclusions, virtues, and understanding of the world, rather than being swayed by external pressures or fleeting emotions. This process of internal navigation begins with a profound self-awareness. It requires knowing oneself intimately, the strengths, weaknesses, passions, and fears. Such knowledge is not gained overnight. It builds through moments of reflection, often fostered in solitude. As she spends time alone, a woman has the opportunity to confront her true self without pretense or distraction. This confrontation is crucial because it strips away the superficial layers of identity shaped by society and allows her true essence to surface. Once this self-awareness is established, it acts as a guide. Decisions become less about what is expected and more about what is right according to one's own beliefs and values. For a Stoic, this alignment is critical because it ensures that actions are not just reactions to external stimuli, but are thoughtful responses that reflect one's true self. This kind of alignment reduces internal conflict, which is often the source of much human distress. When your actions reflect your values, life not only becomes more manageable, but also more fulfilling. Navigating life with inner guidance also involves a certain level of trust. Trust in oneself to make the right choices and to handle the consequences of those choices. This trust is not built on arrogance, but on a track record of thoughtful decision-making and the resilience to bounce back from missteps. Stoicism offers a valuable tool here. The practice of reflecting on one's decisions and their outcomes, learning from mistakes, and adjusting strategies accordingly. This reflective practice fosters a deeper trust in one's capacity to guide oneself through life's complexities. Moreover, this internal guidance system allows for a greater sense of peace. Stoics advocate for peace through acceptance of what we cannot control, focusing instead on our responses, which we can control. When a woman navigates life guided by her inner wisdom, she is less perturbed by external chaos and more focused on maintaining her inner peace. This peace is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of a well-grounded assurance in her own abilities to navigate whatever comes her way. Embracing solitude can enhance this inner guidance by providing the quiet necessary to hear one's own thoughts and feelings clearly. In the silence of solitude, the mind is better able to ponder complex issues, to sift through emotions, and to come to thoughtful resolutions. The clarity gained in these quiet moments is invaluable. It sharpens the inner guidance system, making it more reliable and attuned to the nuances of life's challenges. Navigating life with inner guidance is empowering. It shifts the locus of control from the external world to the individual. A woman who follows her own path, guided by her internal compass, embodies the Stoic ideal of self-determination. She becomes not only a participant in her life, but the principal navigator, steering through her journey with confidence and grace. Embracing the solitary path. Embracing the solitary path is a choice that many may shy away from due to the pervasive fear of loneliness or the stigma associated with being alone. Yet, this path offers profound opportunities for growth and self-discovery that are often unavailable in the constant company of others. This choice aligns seamlessly with Stoic philosophy, which values the tranquility and freedom found in self-sufficiency and personal introspection. For those who embrace solitude, the journey isn't about isolation. It's about the liberation that comes from truly understanding and being comfortable with oneself. Stoicism teaches us that true happiness does not depend on external conditions, but on our internal state. By choosing to walk alone, a woman can focus inward, cultivating a robust inner life that is not swayed by the external world's whims. This inner fortitude allows her to meet challenges with a calm demeanor and to make choices that reflect her true values rather than societal expectations. Moreover, the solitary path allows for a deep engagement with one's thoughts and emotions. It's a time when the noise of the world fades away, and the more subtle tones of the mind and heart can be heard clearly. This clarity is essential for practicing Stoic virtues such as wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. In solitude, one can reflect on personal experiences and decisions, examining them through the lens of these virtues to gain insights that lead to personal betterment and a more virtuous life. Embracing solitude also fosters a unique type of resilience. Stoics believe that facing and overcoming adversity is what forges the human spirit. When walking alone, a woman learns to rely on herself for comfort and guidance. This reliance builds a resilience that is deeply empowering because it comes from knowing that she is capable of surviving and thriving on her own terms. It's not that she won't ever need others, but rather that her primary source of strength and comfort comes from within, making her less vulnerable to life's inevitable fluctuations. The practice of meditation and reflection, fundamental aspects of Stoicism, also becomes more fruitful in solitude. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations as personal reminders on how to maintain composure, compassion, and rationality under any circumstances. Similarly, a woman on the solitary path can use such practices to cultivate a mindset that appreciates the present and maintains a peaceful inner world, regardless of external chaos. Furthermore, walking alone doesn't mean forsaking all human connections. Instead, it enhances the quality of relationships by ensuring that interactions with others are deliberate and meaningful. When a woman chooses her company because it genuinely enriches her life rather than out of a fear of loneliness, she develops healthier, more fulfilling relationships. This selective approach to social interactions aligns with the Stoic idea that it is not the quantity, but the quality of one's relationships that matters. The solitary path allows for a life lived with authenticity. Without the constant influence of others, a woman can develop and express her true self. This authenticity is liberating. It aligns with the Stoic pursuit of living in harmony with one's nature and creates a life that is not only genuine, but also profoundly satisfying. In embracing the solitary path, a woman finds not loneliness, but a deep, enriching solitude that offers space for growth, reflection, and inner peace. It's a path that teaches her to navigate life with her own compass, to build resilience against the external world's pressures, and to form relationships that are truly meaningful. This path might be less traveled, but it is rich with the potential for personal transformation and profound self-understanding. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. Remember, embracing the solitary path isn't about solitude alone. It's about discovering the vast horizons within you. As we part ways today, take a moment to reflect on your own path and the strength that lies in quiet moments of solitude. If you found today's discussion enlightening, I invite you to watch one of the suggested videos on your screen to continue exploring the profound insights Stoicism can offer. Thank you for being part of our Stoic Journal community. Together, we're uncovering the wisdom to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience.